snart ett år sedan, på sommarens sista dag, som jag kände dina läppar och dina andetag. Jag har packat dina saker, men skrev aldrig någon adress, för jag har ej hört av dig sedan dess. Jag har en liten låda med några kort och gamla brev, 2 ringar och ett halsband och dikten som du skrev. Jag har läst den 1000 gånger och 1000 gånger till, när din röst hörs inom mig står tiden still. Jag får kanske acceptera att vi aldrig ses igen. Jag har hoppats allt för länge på att du ska komma hem. Så jag skänkte dina saker och allt som påminde om förr. Sen tog jag skylten med ditt namn bort från min dörr. Jag tog skylten med ditt namn bort från min dörr.
Well, good afternoon everybody and welcome to Philbert Flies. Today we are flying Wizzair flight 1375 from Gdansk Lech Wałęsa airport to Gothenburg in Sweden. And I hope you enjoyed that song, those of you who are watching live. That was what I can only describe as Swedish country music, and I liked it a lot. Anyway, let's get simming. So as you can see, we're parked up here. We're at gate 24, which coincidentally is where we ended up on the last flight in, and it's where this real-world flight departed from on the 28th of October. Let's pop out to the aircraft and start setting up. As per usual, I'll be using FS2 Cruise Flight Crew A320, so we will start running the pre-flight events on there.
Let's start setting up, shall we?
Okay. Good, Smoothfly, good. Welcome to the stream, and welcome to you, Infinite Aviation, and welcome to you, Kevin. I thought of you while choosing that song. I hope it's your kind of music. And even if it isn't, at least it's Swedish, eh? Right, so there we are. Jetway's connected. We've got half an hour of pre-flight events, which we can always fast forward. Oh, you'll be able to catch up on it, Smoothfly. I'll leave it in the YouTube video afterwards. There's a sort of Swedish country music song. Right, what are we doing? Not quite got my brain in gear yet. Let's start by setting up the MCDU. I've already aligned the ADs. I've got power sorted out. We're on external power at the moment. So in ITE we have our Frommen 2 in here, planned on sim brief. No worries, Kevin. I do happen to have a bit of a soft spot for country music, so something for you and something for me. Yeah, so pre-planned on sim brief. Our flight number is Whiskey 6 1375. Cost index we'll use 20. And our cruising flight level is going to be 360, which surprised me. It seems quite high for a flight that only lasts just less than an hour. But SimBrief normally makes sense, so we'll go with it. And I think now would be a good time to listen to the ATIS.
Lech Wałęsa information Delta, 1430 Zulu, winds are 245 at 12 knots. Visibility 6 miles. 3000 broken. Temperature 9, dew point 3. Current QNH is 1025. Arriving and departing runway 29er.
So what do we think? Are these broken clouds at 3,000 feet?
Winds are 245.
Yeah, probably, just about. I'm continuing to keep my fingers crossed that the live weather has improved a lot with the latest update. It certainly seems to have so far. And, pardon me, we're only 1 hectopascal out on the QNH, so... in fact, now we're 1 hectopascal out the other side. Anyway, pretty close, I would say. Let us get our clearance. Clearance delivery. Wizzair 1735, ready to copy IFR clearance.
Aircraft calling clearance delivery, say again with your call sign.
Oh, do you know what? I didn't file my flight plan. Got everything set up, but I didn't file it. I'll just do that quickly. This is, as always, Pilot to ATC I'm using. I did say I would have a look at doing this flight on VATSIM if there was sufficient ATC coverage, but there isn't. But one day I will live stream a flight on VATSIM, because I do quite like it. Let's try asking for our clearance again. Clearance delivery. Wizzair 1375, ready to copy IFR clearance.
1375 is cleared to Echo Sierra Golf Golf. Climb via the DEXI-2H departure, with the Dexter transition, then as filed. Expect departure runway 29. Climb to flight level 180 via the departure. Expect higher clearances 10 minutes after departure. Squawk 4046.
1375 is cleared to Echo Sierra Golf Golf. Climb via the DEXI-2H departure, with the Dexter transition, then as filed. Climb to flight level 180 via the departure. Expect higher clearances 10 minutes after departure. Squawk 4046 Wizzair 1375.
Right, that is pretty much as I expected. Dexy 2 Hotel departure.
QNH is 1025, contact tower on 118.1 when ready for pushback. Have a good afternoon.
And we have no altitude constraints.
1025 tower on 118.1 Wizzair 1375.
So we have to be above 7,000. I say we have no altitude constraints. I mean we can climb as high as we like. By GD542 we need to be at or above 7,000 feet. And by Dexia we need to be at or above flight level 100, so that's good. Oh, that would be cool, smooth flight. Kevin's about to do exactly the same, I think, so yeah. For those of you who weren't aware, I try with my music choices to find something from the country that we're flying to amongst the fairly limited selection that you get on Epidemic Sound, which is one of the few sources of royalty-free music. Yes, Infinite Aviation, you do. It's already It's already pre-programmed because it's our planned departure. But if it wasn't, then we could go. I'll start that again so you can see. So from the from airport would just say EPGD. It wouldn't say runway 29. So we'd click on that, go to departure. And we'd choose our runway here, runway 29, and then Dexy 2H here, and then we click insert. But that was already done for us. Yeah, I'd love it if more of you became air traffic controllers. Then I could just tell you where I'm flying, and you could make sure that all the positions were manned from departure to arrival. Be a lot of fun. Good, right, so we've done our flight plan page, so we move over now. Actually, let's check our destination. So we are expecting the Risma 2 Sierra arrival, and we are expecting an ILS approach to runway 21, but we'll wait and see what we're cleared for nearer the time. Go over to our init B page. And this will automatically be populated if you click it twice. I had no idea you're from Gothenburg, Smooth Flying. It's a happy coincidence. Fuel on board, 6.4 tons, so I'll put that in here. And that done, we'll go over to our performance page. I've pre-calculated our V-speeds and our flex temperature, so we're using flex of 62. We're doing a flaps 1 takeoff, and our V-speeds are 149, 149 and 150. Transition altitude according to the SID chart is 6,500 feet. Yes, I do see the star on SimBrief Infinite Aviation. Yeah, so I use SimBrief and it plans the SIDs and stars for you. So we're at 400 feet, so we will use, or 400 and something feet, we'll use 1900 as our thrust reduction altitude and 3400 as our acceleration altitude. This is generally, if it isn't specified in the airport charts, then it's generally down to the airline SOPs, I believe. So, but I 1500 and 3000 above ground level are fairly typical. Right, so that is us almost set up. We'll turn on the flight director. How are we doing for time? So it's 14:07 Zulu, so we want to be setting off fairly soon. I'll fast forward the pre-flight events.
Hi, the security and safety checks are all done. Are we good to start boarding?
Yes, you can start boarding.
Okay.
So with Flight Crew A320, boarding starts about 20 minutes before departure, but you can of course fast forward that, so you don't always have to stick around for the full half hour. We will turn on our APU, get some warmth in this aircraft. Master switch on, wait 3 seconds, press the start button. Overhead panel's looking good. Oh, good. Glad you got your liveries going. I believe the new update broke a lot of them, but certainly the ones in the Mega Pack have been fixed now, so that's good news. I quite like all this chat in Swedish. Gives a sense of authenticity to the flight. I could hazard a guess. Something about going to the Manga Ganga. Don't know what the Manga Ganga is. No, Swedish is a mystery to me. So as you can see down here, our lower ECAM screen displays automatically the APU page while the APU is starting up. If you want to have a look at the APU status at any other time, then you can just click on the APU button down here. And the same for any of the other pages, but if none of these buttons are selected, then it will generally display the most suitable or the most relevant page to the particular stage of your flight. So the APU is now available, which means we can turn on the APU bleed, which will give us bleed air to warm the cabin and start the engines. We can turn external power off. We'll fast forward the pre-flight events.
Hi guys, here's the load sheet for you.
Thanks.
No problem, have a safe flight.
And we'll get underway shortly.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on
right, okay, cool.
As you locate your assigned seats, please place your smaller items under the seat in front of you to provide more room for larger items in our overhead compartment. If you need assistance, contact the flight attendant. If you are unable to accommodate any items in the cabin, please bring the
Okay, so I've fast forwarded pre-flight events to 1 minute before departure.
Also review the safety instruction in your seat pocket. If you're seated at an exit...
And at 0 minutes, the door should close and the jetway should disconnect.
Hey guys, all packs are on board. Are we clear to close?
Yep.
Thanks, let me know if you need anything.
There you have it. Right, so now all we need to do is request our pushback and startup clearance. Tower, Wizzair 1375, ready for pushback and engine start. Wizzair 1375, ready for pushback and engine start.
Wizzair 1375, pushback and engine start approved.
Pushback and engine start approved. Wizzair 1375.
Right, let's run the before start checklist.
Before start checklist.
Cockpit prep.
Completed.
Completed. Gear pins and covers.
Removed.
Signs.
On and auto.
ADS.
Nav.
Fuel quantity.
Set.
Takeoff data.
Set.
Baro ref.
1026 set.
1026 set. Down to the line.
Below the line.
Windows and doors.
Closed.
Closed. Beacon.
On.
Thrust levers.
Idle.
Parking brake.
On.
Before start checklist complete.
Okay, and now we'll use Pushback Express to get us pushed back from the gate and facing to the right.
Cockpit to ground.
Go ahead, flight deck.
We are ready for pushback and engine start.
Understood. Release the parking brakes, please.
Parking brakes released.
Pushing back.
Now interestingly, the minimum distance you can set in Pushback Express is 50 metres, but this is shorter than that. It's only about 30 metres we want to go back. But it does have a feature whereby you can use the ailerons to start the turn early. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm not terribly good at judging exactly where the turn needs to start, but it's I think just before the back of the aircraft is over the taxiway
All
centre
ground
line.
equipment is clear. You can start the engines at your discretion.
So that was just a quick bit of right aileron and the turn was started. And we're clear to start the engines, so let's do it.
Starting engine 1.
Hello Near, thank you. Nice to see you. So we'll turn the engine mode selector to start and start engine 1. And of course you have the usual choice of monitoring the engine starting down here, as you should, or popping outside and having a listen to the nice new sounds.
The push is complete. Please set the brakes.
Parking brake set.
Understood. Okay, ground equipment is removed. The pin is out. Good engine starts from my side. I'll see you on your left hand side.
Thanks, and you can disconnect and go to hand signals.
Thanks, have a good flight, and we'll see you later.
Not a bad judgment of where to start the pushback, where to start the turn, I should say. More or less on the centre line. So that's engine 1 stable.
Starting engine 2.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome on board today. This is your purser speaking. Please direct your attention to the cabin crew for important safety information. There is an instruction card in your seat pocket that illustrates the safety equipment on board this aircraft. Regulations require compliance with this information as well as all crew instructions, the lighted information signs and posted placards. Fasten your seatbelt by inserting the metal tip into the buckle. Tighten by pulling on the belt. To release your seatbelt, lift the metal flap on the buckle. It is our policy that you keep your seatbelt fastened at all times while seated. Doors are clearly marked with exit signs and instructions for door operation. Each door is equipped with an escape slide. Locate the nearest exit to you and note that the nearest exit may be behind you.
So something that's missing from this aircraft and this mod is the available indications up here. Once both engines are started, you'll get available written above each of them in real life.
Remain seated with your seatbelt fastened.
But anyhow, that is 2 stable engines, so we will turn the engine mode selector back to normal. And we no longer need our APU, so we'll turn off the APU bleed. We'll turn off the APU master switch. And while we're up here, we'll turn on our taxi light. And we'll run the after start checklist.
After start checklist.
Anti-ice.
Set.
ECAM status.
Checked.
Pitch trim.
25% set.
Rudder trim.
0.
After start checklist complete.
Now I did actually set the pitch trim before I started streaming to 23%. Let's just check if it's... Yeah, no, it is 23%, that's fine. Flight control check time.
Control check.
Full up. Full down. Neutral.
And as you see, once you start moving your flight controls, the flight control page pops up here, which is nice.
Full left. Full right. Neutral.
Rudder.
Full left. Full right. Neutral.
And the first officer's doing his flight control checks silently now. And we'll request our taxi. Wizzair 1375, ready to taxi.
Wizzair 1375 taxi to runway 29 via taxiways Charlie 1, Bravo 2, hold short runway 11.
Taxi to runway 29 via taxiways Charlie 1, Bravo 2, hold short runway 11 Wizzair 1375.
There is no runway 11 as far as I'm aware, so I don't know what they're talking
Clear left
about
side.
Clear right side.
But anyhow.
Brake check.
Pressure 0.
No, very definitely only... oh, I see, sorry, yeah. 11 is the reverse of runway 29, of course. They're not brilliant. No, I don't tend to fly from any of the default airports, particularly when I'm doing airliner flights. They are better than anything I've seen in any other sim, though. It's just, if they had decent night lighting by default, even if it was auto-generated, that would make them a lot better. Hello, Deza. Nice to see you. Right, let's ding the cabin crew. We won't set the auto brake to max because it disengages every time you use the toe brakes, but we will test our takeoff config. And we'll run our before takeoff checklist down to the line.
Before takeoff checklist.
Flight controls.
Checked.
Checked. Flight instruments.
Checked.
Checked. Briefing.
Confirmed.
Flat setting.
Config 1 plus F.
Config 1 plus F. V1, VR, V2, flex temp.
V1 149, VR 149, V2 150.
V1 149, VR 149, V2 150. ATC.
Set.
ECAM memo.
Take off no blue.
Down to the line.
And then we'll run it below the line once we've been cleared for takeoff. So this is a freeware add-on for Gdansk Lech Wałęsa, which you can find a link to in the video description.
Wizzair 1375 advise when ready for departure.
And while it may not be payware quality, considering it's free, I think it's really impressive. Though my performance isn't great. It was on the way in, it was smooth as butter, but I'm getting a few stutters today. Don't know why. Sim did the same yesterday when I was bush flying, and a restart fixed it, but never used to be an issue for me. Right. Wizzair 1375 ready for departure, runway 29.
Wizzair 1375 winds are 255 at 13 knots, cleared for takeoff, runway 29.
Cleared for takeoff.
Okay, so we're cleared for
runway
takeoff,
29,
strobe on,
Wizzair
landing lights on,
1375.
runway turn off lights on. Wing lights on, and nose light to take off. If I can click it. There we are. And we'll run our before takeoff checklist below the line.
Below the line.
Cabin crew, be seated for takeoff. Takeoff runway.
Confirmed.
Confirmed. Cabin crew.
Advised.
Engine mode selector.
Normal.
Packs.
On.
Before takeoff checklist complete.
Right, let's do this.
Ready?
Ready.
Take off.
Just set the auto brake to max. Now we won't be using the toe brakes anymore. Thrust levers up to about 50%, engine stable, and up to flex.
Manflex, SRS runway, auto thrust blue.
Check. Thrust set. 100 knots.
Check.
V1. Rotate. Positive climb.
Gear up.
Gear up.
AP1.
Check.
Welcome to the sky! Gdańsk city is behind us over here.
Radar director on 133.65. Have a good one.
Radar director on 133.65 Wizzair 1375. Radar director Wizzair 1375 climbing to flight level 180.
Wizzair 1375, good afternoon. Radar contact.
Flap 0.
Speed checked. Flaps 0.
So the aircraft will now lower the nose to accelerate to 250 knots.
Wizzair 1375 climb and maintain flight level 180.
Yes, I am.
Climb and maintain flight level 180 Wizzair 1375.
And now we can run the after takeoff climb checklist.
After takeoff, climb checklist.
Landing gear.
Up.
Flaps.
Retracted.
Packs.
On.
Down to the line.
And we'll set our altimeters to standard on passing the transition altitude of 6,500 feet.
Set standard.
Standard, cross-checked, passing flight level 069. Now.
Check. Below the line.
Barrow ref.
Standard set.
Standard set. After takeoff checklist complete.
And we've got our nose light turned off by the first officer. We'll turn off our runway turn-off lights, and the rest can stay on. And as we pass 10,000 feet, we'll turn off the landing lights as well. Quite a long initial climb out today, isn't it, before that first turn?
Wizzair 1375 expedite climb to flight level 180.
Expedite climb to flight level 180 Wizzair 1375.
Pilot to ATC really don't like you slowing your climb to accelerate at all. It's lovely, isn't it, smooth flying? Very nice. Nice weather, nice bit of early sunset. Right, we're above 10,000 feet now. We'll turn off our landing lights, and because it's nice and smooth, we'll turn off the seatbelt signs as well. Yes, it does smooth flying. VNAV works more or less. I mean, it's not called VNAV in this aircraft, but managed altitude mode, managed speed mode, they work. What doesn't quite work yet is the altitude constraints in the MCDU. So it won't necessarily obey these, and you can't set them always. So that's still a bit buggy. But the fly-by-wire guys have done a great job so far of making VNAV perform a lot better than it did to begin with. I mean, as you see, I haven't had to intervene with the speed or altitude at all so far.
Climb and maintain flight level 260. Contact both off center on 127.45. Enjoy your afternoon.
Center on 127.45. Take care, Wizzair 1375.
Little bit of light chop, but
Center
nothing
with
too
Air
bad.
1375 climbing to flight level 260.
Wizzair 1375, good afternoon. Radar contact.
Hello Samsonite, good afternoon to you too. How's life? Oh, you're at the gym. It's amazing the places people watch my streams. Well, have a good workout. So what are you doing at this precise moment at the gym, Samsonite? Are you on a treadmill or static bike? Or I want to picture the scene. unfortunately, we've got quite a strong headwind at the moment. See what happens when we get out to our cruising altitude, but it could delay us a little. Oh, that's interesting. Bit of variety for you. Hello Fusilier, nice to see you. And thank you, I'm glad you're enjoying it.
Wizzair 1375 climb and maintain flight level 360.
Climb and maintain flight level 360 Wizzair 1375.
Oh right, you're doing upper body today. Cool. So you're watching on a phone, are you? Weights in one hand, iPhone in the other, something like that. This flight is about an hour, something like that. It's a fairly short one. Yeah, so our ETA is about an hour from now. An interesting paint scheme, this Wizzair one. It seems that this darker purple is a lot more shiny than this sort of matte lighter purple. Quite interesting. Don't know if that's real, but if it is, then kudos to the reskinner. Never actually flown with Wizzair, but they certainly seem to be growing. Have a quick look at the weather in Gothenburg. It's not great. Broken clouds at 1500 feet with cumulonimbus in the area. And rain showers. So I was watching XP72's stream last night. I don't know if any of you have come across him. I hadn't. I don't, to be honest, do a huge amount of watching YouTube. But he was really good. I enjoyed it a lot. And but the one thing that went wrong was on his final landing in Fort Lauderdale. he had an experience very sirimilar to what I had on our last landing at Gdansk, in that he just lost rudder authority. So after touchdown, the aircraft veered off the runway to the left despite him having full right rudder in. So that made me a little bit anxious about today's flight, but we'll see what happens. They've definitely messed around with the flight model in this latest Asobo patch, which isn't necessarily a totally bad thing. I certainly find the Cessna 152 a little bit easier to fly now, but yeah, they might have to tweak the A320 model a bit, I think. So I'll tell you a little bit about our routing now we're safely up in the air. Broadly speaking, we're flying northwest, as you would expect. But we took off and made a left turn and then a right turn to take us west, and we'll be coasting out very shortly over Darlovo, perhaps. I think that's how you pronounce it. And then we'll be flying over the sea for a little bit, and then overhead Rona? I'm not entirely sure. I think it's a Swedish island. And then passing just to the north of Copenhagen, very close to the border between Denmark and Sweden, and joining our arrival routing to the north over the west coast of Sweden before turning inland more or less overhead Gothenburg city, then making a right turn onto base leg and another right turn onto final, assuming we get this runway, I've forgotten which one we're landing on, runway 21 we're expecting. So it should be quite a nice descent and approach.
Wizzair 1735 contact Malmo control on 118.0. Enjoy your afternoon.
Center on 118.0 Wizzair 1735. Center Wizzair 1735 climbing to flight level 360.
Wizzair 1735, good afternoon. Radar contact. Climb and maintain flight level 360.
So there we are, handed over to Malmo control just as we're reaching our cruising flight level. And we'll probably be with Malmo for a fair while, I imagine. Hello, Ollie. Nice to see you. Welcome to the stream. So we're just about a third of the way into the flight at the moment. And any time now we should see the Swedish coastline up ahead of us. This is that island I was talking about earlier on, whose name I can't really pronounce. We're going to be overhead a town that's called something like Rona or Rona, just over here. How was work, Ollie? Oh, I said that just as your message popped up. Oh, bad luck. Yeah, I've been there. I have a 20-minute drive home from work on a good day, half an hour during rush hour. And once, about a month ago, it took me 2 hours. I just sat in standstill traffic. It's awful. And there isn't really a huge benefit to living in London at the moment, is there? Anyway, the upside of it was that I bought a bike to replace my old one, which got stolen in March, and I'm quite enjoying cycling again. Good grief, that is crazy. Good, I'm glad you had something nice to come home to anyway. And maybe from tomorrow the traffic will start to drop off a little bit, you never know. It did first time round. Which bit of London are you in, Ollie, if you don't mind me asking? Oh, okay. I used to work round there, actually. I used to work in Hanwell. I live near. I live in Walthamstow, northeast. Oh, I said I live in Walthamstow, northeast London. Oh, I used to work in Hanwell. And I used to live in Acton when I was down that way. Oh, okay, so this island is called Bornholm, and that airport that you may have noticed down there is Bornholm Airport, and it's actually Danish, not Swedish. And this is the Swedish coastline up ahead of us. I'm in the railways as well, Ollie. I do instant response management. But I don't like to get too much more specific than that. Oh yes, I did know your name was Jason from the Discord. I will call you Jason. I'm never sure how much people like to give away on these live streams. And as always, I forgot to turn my weather radar on. One day I'll get everything right first time.
Wizzair 1735 expect the RISM-2 Sierra arrival with the RISMA transition for the ILS approach to runway 21 at Landvetter after Laszlo cleared direct RISMA.
Expect the RISM-2 Sierra arrival with the RISMA transition for the ILS approach to runway 21 after Laszlo cleared direct RISMA Wizzair 1735.
So after Laszlo, direct to RISMA, and then if we go over here, we'll double check our arrival, RISMA 2 Sierra, which is what we're expecting, and we'll want ILS 21. And we'll put that star in again, so that we can get the right transition. No approach fires. Okay, I would expect it to say RISMA down here, but I guess that's possibly the only option. See what happens. And I'll hand control over to the co-pilot and start setting up for the approach properly.
You have control.
I have control.
Oh, it's not doing that thing where it turns around completely when you change the approach, is it? No, okay. Yeah, we're heading to Elvix, that's fine. Right, so let's have a quick look at the approach plate. So the ILS frequency is 108.5. Go to the RadNav page, check that's in, and it is. And we'll go to our performance approach page and fill that in. So the minimum decision altitude is 706. And I'll get the weather information in a second. Yeah, that does sound nice, Jason. I've been tempted myself as well, but the truth of the matter is virtually all of my friends are in London, all of my family are in London. And while I do quite want a bit more space and a bit more greenery, I think I'd find it hard to start again somewhere new. What did your boss say? Is there the possibility of a transfer further west? What am I doing? Metar. Okay, so the QNH is going to be 1018 at Gothenburg. Temperature is going to be 8 degrees. Wind is 220 at 10. Transition altitude is by ATC. Good, so we'll take back control. Oh no, we'll set our auto brakes. Use medium because I'm scared the plane's going to lose control when we touch down, even though we've probably got enough runway for low.
Wizzair 1735 descend to cross Risma at flight level 170, then descend via the RISM-2 Sierra arrival with the Risma transition to 3,000 feet. QNH is 1018 at Landvetter.
Will cross Risma at flight level 170, then descend via the RISM-2 Sierra
Risma at
arrival
flight level
with the Risma
170.
transition to 3,000 feet. QNH is 1018 Wizzair 1735.
We don't have to start our descent for a little while yet. Oh really? So if you go to heading select and then back to manage, it starts turning around, is it? I so rarely use selected heading. Let's give it a go. So let's say I want to turn to heading 305. And then go back to managed heading mode. It seems to adjust it alright. Let's try a bigger turn to the left. Hello Mossy, nice to see you. No need to apologise. We all have lives to live, even if they're a lot less full than they used to be. No, the selected heading mode seems to be working alright for me, but this sim is weird. People with exactly the same setups end up with different bugs. I don't really understand it. Now, I'm going to put this in, even though I know it doesn't really work. We want to be crossing here at 220, don't we? Let me just double check my notes. Cross with Risma at flight level 170. No, not 220 at all. 170. But we don't want to be at 170 or below, which is what this minus sign suggests. We just want to be at flight level 170. I don't know, not a lot we can do about that at the moment. Hello Squadron Leader, nice to see you. Oh gosh, were you up watching the election, Mossy? Or just having a restless night? You got to make the most of it before you start work next week, haven't you, really? So Risma's about 80 nautical miles away. And I think we'll start our descent when it's about 60 nautical miles away. Give us plenty of time. So we've just crossed over the coastline into Sweden, as you can see. And I believe we're somewhere near Malmö. We'll be certainly coming past Malmö. And Malmö's off over our left wing. A bit of stuttering. Yeah, so Malmö itself should be at the end of this bay. Somewhere down there. Yeah, I think there are more problems, Jason, when you're on the approach. I think if you mess around with things before then, it tends to work, but often on the approach phase, it just wants to send you back to the first waypoint for some reason. Right, yeah, I can imagine that didn't make you all that popular, Mossy. I've had nights like that as well, just can't sleep. I tell you what, let's start our descent now. Flight level 170. And I'll just have a look at the altitude constraints on our approach. Okay, so no constraint initially. We're going Risma Elbux. And then at GG 904 we want to be at flight level 80 or above. Good grief, what is going on here? You look down to your iPad for 1 minute, the plane goes mad. Haven't had this since the beta. Let's try disconnecting the autopilot and reconnecting it.
AP1.
Check.
Seems to have fixed it. Still like to carry on our descent there if it's all the same to you. Thank you. It's a lovely time of day to fly this. With the added bonus that where I am, an hour behind, we're having very similar lighting conditions at the moment. Yeah. Apologies if you pick up on some heavy breathing through the microphone. It's not me, it's my cat. He's very interested in sniffing it and purring. We seem to be doing about right to meet our altitude constraint at Rizma. Just reduce the range ever so slightly. So we should be down in about 20 minutes time, something like that. Turn the seatbelts on.
Wizzair 1735 contact Copenhagen Control on 119.42. Have a good afternoon.
Center on 119.42 Wizzair 1735. Center Wizzair 1735 descending to 3,000 feet.
Wizzair 1735 good afternoon. Radar contact. QNH is 1023.
QNH is 1023 Wizzair 1735.
I think we'll turn a bit of anti-icing on now. I mean, I always enjoy these flights, but once in a while you just look out the window and see a view like this, and it's just breathtaking, isn't it? Yeah, it is. It is. And the weather's a bit better than when I took the screenshot for this video. It was very heavily overcast, so hopefully we'll still have a bit of golden light after touchdown.
Wizzair 1735
Cabin
contact
crew,
Malmo
prepare
Control
for
on
arrival.
118.0. Have a good afternoon.
Center on 118.0 Wizzair 1735. Center Wizzair 1735 descending to 3,000 feet.
Wizzair 1735 good afternoon. Radar contact. QNH is 1022.
QNH is 1022 Wizzair 1735.
So we'll set a transition altitude of 6,000 feet. It's usually 5,000 above what you're departing on. Sorry, 1,000. Did I say 5,000? I don't know. Too busy looking at the clouds to think. Right, so we'll maintain this altitude until Rizma, and then descend via the star. This is another interesting little bug, isn't it? It's saying that we are descending slightly, and we are, but it's more or less stopped our descent before hitting 17,000. I don't know why. Oh, how many years have I been simming? Gosh, since I was about 14 probably, which is yeah, about 22 years, something like that. What about you? Is this your first sim, or have you used others as well? I'm just playing with selected versus managed altitude modes. I went from selected to managed, and it's decided to climb up. Obviously likes being 200 feet above what I've set, which is very odd. Oh, okay. I mean, I was the same in the early days. I had flight sim for Windows 95, and you know, I just flew around various airports, didn't take it particularly seriously, and then I learned you could download airliners and things like that, and I still didn't take it very seriously. You know, I'd just point the plane in a particular direction and see where I ended up, and then I tried to point it in the right direction to go from A to B, and it was only then after that, after a year or two of that, that I started getting really into learning about it and learnt the joys of simulating real world flights. I know, yeah, well, FSX has a lot more add-ons available for it. It has aircraft that work properly. I used to, as I keep banging on about, I'm sure probably too much, I used to fly the FS Labs Airbus in FSX and then in Prepared. And I do miss it, but I just, I can't go back because this is too beautiful and it feels like you're flying in the real world. It's a YouTube thing, Jason. It's slightly quicker on Twitch, but I think there's about a 20 or 30 second delay between what I'm doing here and YouTube actually showing it. So it's basically the time it takes for you to see it and then send your message and for it to pop up on the screen again. Right, so now we're past Risma, we can descend to flight level 80. Did you fly FSX as well, Mossy? Or is this your first? And pounds as well, I'm sure. Oh right, yeah. I've never been super into plane spotting, I have to say. I've always been more into pretending I'm a pilot than watching. But yeah, whenever I'm flying in the real world, I spend a long time glued to terminal windows and that sort of thing. Yeah, it's addictive spending money on add-ons, isn't it? I think we all hoped we just wouldn't need to, that the sim would be so good out of the box that we wouldn't feel the need to spend another penny on it, but it's just not realistic. I bought the new Princess Juliana on St Martin add-on last night, and yeah, that was another €20. But it's beautiful. But I'll probably hardly ever fly there, but it doesn't matter because it's beautiful. Oh, I spoke just as you were typing your message again, Jason. Yeah, I know, it's stunning. It's neither. Oh, hang on. Who's it by? Let me have a quick look. It's available on Sim Market, and it is by Airworthy Designs, which is a developer I've never heard of. But they've done a very good job. I'm going to do a review of it at some point soon, hopefully before the weekend. I used to have the Fly Tampa version, and I've got to say, there are a few things I prefer about the Fly Tampa version, but overall I think this one is better.
I have control.
You have control.
For your continued safety, flight attendants will now walk through the cabin security line. We'll collect any off-service items, newspapers and any other items that you wish to discard and take off the aircraft. Also, in preparation for landing, please turn off all electronic devices, though these devices will be no longer carrier. Please use caution when opening the overhead bin, because others may have symptoms. Please stow your tray.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got €20 burning a hole in your pocket, Mossy, I'd buy it.
Thank you.
Don't wait for my review. Watch my review, but don't wait for it. Look at that lighting. Yes, yeah, that was a great approach, Kaitak. It was brilliant. I wouldn't be surprised if someone brings it out into this sim. I can't remember who did it. Was it Fly Tampa who had it for the previous versions? I think so. And it was a popular product even long after the airport shut. I knew what you meant, sorry. So after GG 904 we can descend to 5,000 feet. By the time we get to GG 145 we need to be knots at or below 230 knots. Yeah, so 230 knots by here. You did, Kevin, you came in time not only for the landing but also to have a look at this spectacular sunset and the gorgeous night lighting down below. This has been another one of those flights where I just think this simulator is amazing. Oh, okay, so we're entering approach mode now. You'll see it's slowing us down to our flap extension speed, so we needn't worry about manually intervening with the speed, which is good. Right, let's start our descent to what can we go down to? 5,000 by the next waypoint. Might have to use a little bit of speed brake, I don't know yet. Yes, it's a preset that I set just earlier on in this flight actually. So I've set this to Alt 7. I don't know if you know about custom cam reviews, but if you don't, I've done a short video on setting them up. Yes, I should talk about Saturday actually, shouldn't I? Yeah. So for those of you who aren't aware, I'm doing a group flight on Saturday from Caernarfon to Leeds via Liverpool and Manchester. So if anyone is free at 2 PM on Saturday Zulu time and would like to join, you'd be very welcome. And there's all the details you need on my Discord server, which is linked to in the video description. Yeah, I think you're right, Kevin. I agree with you. However, after what happened with my last landing, with just totally losing rudder authority, I want to slow it down sharpish. Oh, good, good, good. Turn on our landing system, and because we are going to an altitude rather than a flight level, set pressure to standard. No, sorry, set local pressure. And get the co-pilot to do the same.
1020 set.
1020 set. Passing 6,600.
Add in a little bit of speed brake to slow us down, and we'll run the approach checklist.
Approach checklist.
Now, briefing.
Check confirmed.
ECAM status.
Checked.
Baro ref.
1020 set.
1020 set. Minimum. Engine mode selector.
Normal.
Approach checklist complete.
And we can go down to 3,000 passing this waypoint. I think we'll add a little bit more speed braking. This is very, very slippery since one of the recent mod updates. Welcome back, Smooth Flying. Good timing, good timing. Let's extend flaps 1 but keep our speed
Flaps
up.
1.
Speed checked. Flaps 1.
Because I do want to get down to 3,000 feet. And the flaps will help us do it. Did I say welcome back, Smooth Flying? I can't remember. Anyway, welcome back again if I've already said it.
Wizzair 1735 QNH is 1019er cleared for the ILS approach to runway 21 at Landvetter.
QNH is 1019er cleared for the ILS approach to runway 21 Wizzair 1735.
No DME down here for some reason. We've overshot the localizer slightly, but not to worry.
Wizzair 1735 QNH is 1019er at Landvetter, contact tower on 118.6. Enjoy your afternoon.
QNH is 1019er tower on 118.6 Wizzair 1735. Tower Wizzair 1735.
I'm using a Thrustmaster T16000M.
Runway 21.
Wizzair 1735, good afternoon.
Flaps 2.
Radar
Check the speed.
contact. Continue
Yes, I am a
ILS
little
to
fast
runway
for flaps
21
too.
call when established on final.
Continue ILS to runway 21 will call when established on final Wizzair
Flaps 2.
1735.
Check the speed.
No, I can definitely extend them at 215. Definitely.
Flaps 2.
Speed checked.
Thank you.
Flaps 2.
Get out.
Gear down.
Yeah, that you're going to enjoy that, Jason.
Checked.
The stick, I think, is exactly the same as what I've got, and it's just blue. And I've been very happy with this. And I'd probably order it myself if I had space for the throttle quadrant.
Flaps 3.
Speed checked. Flaps 3.
Wizzair 1735 established on final.
Wizzair 1735 winds are 227 at 14 knots, cleared to land runway 21.
Cleared to land runway 21 Wizzair 1735.
Flaps full.
Speed checked.
Flaps full.
Cabin crew, be seated for landing.
A much stronger crosswind than there is in the Meta. Seems to be becoming something of a theme in this sim. Expecting a 14 knot crosswind from 220, and we've got a 25 knot crosswind from 253.
Landing checklist.
Cabin crew.
Advised.
Auto thrust.
Speed.
Auto brake.
Low.
ECAM memo.
Landing no blue.
Landing checklist complete.
Oh, this is lovely though, isn't it? I heard on the grapevine that we have a minimums call out now, so hopefully when we're at 706 feet it should activate. Okay, let's disconnect the autopilot now.
Checked.
Welcome back, Samsonite. Beautiful timing.
100 above. 500. 400. Minimum.
Continue.
Brilliant.
200.
Yeah, it's quite gusty.
100. 60, 50, 40, 30, 20. Retard. 5.
Spoilers. Reverse, green, decel.
1735 exit runway when able.
$70 knots.
Well, again,
Gentlemen, this
bit
is
of difficulty controlling it with the rudders after landing, but nice smooth touchdown, so happy with that.
front of the seatbelt sign and the aircraft is parked safely. This will be your indication that it is safe to move around the cabin, gather your belongings and disembark. We'd like to thank you for flying with us today. We appreciate your business and we hope to see you once again on a future flight. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason. Right, we'll turn off the landing lights. Turn off the strobe. Or turn it to auto, that'll do. Turn off the anti-ice, we don't need it. That's set to taxi. We don't need the runway turn off lights. Right, and we want to go to a particular gate. You're very welcome, Smooth Flying. Welcome home. Oh, nice, that's nice. Yes, where do we want to go? Gate 15, I believe. Yes. Let's get the APU started while we taxi. Yeah, I can certainly fly to Spain sometime, Samson. I have done a Heathrow to Madrid flight, but that's quite a long time ago. So yeah, we're due another one. I'm really hoping for a Barcelona scenery soon.
After landing checklist.
Flaps.
Retracted.
Spoilers.
Disarmed.
APU.
Start.
Radar.
Wish these were a little bit easier to click.
Off.
Predictive wind shear system.
Off.
After landing checklist complete.
Yes, Malaga is now in the sim, but it's not very good. And you know me, I do not like flying to default airports at all. I tell you where we could fly though, if Malaga's up your street, we could at some point go to Gibraltar, which is a tricky approach, and I may well mess it up, but it's at least a handcrafted airport. Oh, hello Dave, didn't know you were here, nice to see you. Yeah, this. I think what you were saying, I know what you mean by the magical floating lights in the sky, but I think it was these, and they're just a bit flickery, and the structures underneath them take a while to spawn in for some reason. Yeah, Gibraltar is tricky. I'll be honest with you, it was a flight I was considering doing quite early on when after I started streaming, but I did a practice run and I messed it up so badly, put me off going back, but I think we should go back now. Well, you know, Malaga doesn't look that bad, it just looks like a standard default airport, and I believe it has a runway missing. So, gate 15 should be the third one after this piece of terminal that sticks out. 1, 2, 3. Oh, and there's a little Piper parked at it. That's a shame. Never mind, we'll hopefully find another free gate. There are too many statics in this scenery. No, I don't think there are any more gates at this terminal. Tell you what, bear with me. We'll just turn off live traffic, and the Piper will disappear. Oh, it hasn't disappeared. Oh, there's a separate setting, isn't there, for ground aircraft density. Turn that off, and then the Piper should disappear. There we are.
Taxi light off.
Oh, could I have taken gate 12? Does it have a jetway? Oh yeah, it does. Well. This is the correct gate. This is where the real aircraft parked, so it was worth twiddling with the settings, I think. And here we are. So we will turn on the APU bleed, turn off the engines, turn off the wing and the beacon lights, and taxi light is off. We'll turn off the seatbelt sign and we'll turn off the fuel pumps, and then we can run the parking checklist. No docking systems work in this sim. I don't think the SDK supports it yet.
Parking checklist.
APU bleed.
On.
Engines.
Off.
Seatbelts.
Off.
Exterior lights.
Set.
Fuel pumps.
Off.
Parking brake and chocks.
On and in.
Parking checklist complete.
Good. Well, nice little flight, I thought. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll just have a read back over the messages because there's been too much going on to actually take them in. Gibraltar is tricky, yes it is. Yeah, all Bex and Airsoft are bringing a lot of stuff out. I've forgotten what was so annoying smooth flying. Was it about Malaga? Was it about the taken gate? Yeah, it's probably about the gate. That doesn't sound like a happy memory, Jason. Give it a full year, yeah, absolutely. Docking system, no, we've discussed that. And yes, that's very Ryanair, isn't it? Taking up a gate with a jetway, but not paying for it. Oh, thank you, Nia. I'm glad you stuck it out. Yeah, it's what I've done for most of my simming career, to be honest, flying airliners. It's only recently that I've got into GA because you can actually see stuff that's worth seeing on the ground. Yes, that's correct, Jason. Yeah, so it provides power and bleed air, so it'll keep the passengers warm while they disembark if you keep it on. Oh, the missing runway. Yeah, that is a shame. So yes, so you've got two options for power on the ground. You've got the APU, which we're using at the moment, or external power, or as Samsonite says, GPU ground power unit. Same thing. Although I believe some jetways have power connections, so you don't need a separate unit. So if we turn that on now and we turn off the APU bleed and the APU, the aircraft will still be fully powered up because it's getting external power. Anyway, I think we'll call it a day there. I do hope to see some of you on Saturday. As I say, group flight 1400 Zulu. Sketchy details on my Discord at the moment, but there'll be more to follow once I've finalised the flight plan. And thank you very much for joining me on this flight on Filbert Flies. And I'll see you again soon, I hope. Take care. Bye-bye.